Okay, so today we're going to tackle something pretty heavy.
Yeah.
It's something I think we all need to be talking more about.
Absolutely.
And it's, the reality of just being Black in the West.
Right.
And I have a firsthand account that we're going to be diving into today that really kind of shook me, honestly.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start off just by asking you, have you ever felt just completely unseen?
Oh, yeah.
Or just misunderstood based on your race.
Totally.
I think that's something that we're really going to explore today.
And what I find so interesting is the way that individual experiences can really shed light on these bigger societal issues. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So today we're going to be diving deep into this social media post by Amelia Amemate.
Yeah.
She's a Black African woman living in the UK.
Okay.
And she shared these two encounters that honestly just left her feeling really unsettled.
And you know what really got me about her post was that it wasn't just like a description of what happened. She laid bare the emotional weight of what these encounters.
Impact.
Yeah, like what the impact was. So in one instance, she's in a classroom, she's teaching.
Okay.
And she needs a marker. Someone comes in and tries to hand the marker to her student.
Wow.
Assuming that she must be the student.
Oof.
And it's so subtle, but talk about a gut punch,
Yeah, and this is like a textbook definition almost of a microaggression.
Okay.
It's this seemingly small act, but it betrays this underlying prejudice.
Right.
And it often leaves the person who's on the receiving end questioning themselves, did that just happen?
No way.
Am I overreacting?
Yeah.
But the thing is, these seemingly small moments,
Yeah.
they accumulate.
They add up.
Yeah, and they create this constant low-grade stress.
Right. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Ugh, it's the worst.
And then there's the second incident that honestly made my blood boil.
Oh, no.
So she's leaving her room at her college when this white man just straight up asks her if she's a cleaner.
What?
Just based on seeing her leaving her room.
Oh, my gosh. And, that's not even a microaggression at that point. That's just, straight up racial bias.
It's assuming that her occupation is that based solely on her race.
Exactly. And think about the power dynamic there, too.
Oh, yeah.
He felt so entitled to an answer from her that when she ignored him, he actually got aggressive and chased her down.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
And here's where it gets really interesting. And by interesting, I mean infuriating.
Okay.
There were these two white women who witnessed this whole thing. And their response was basically we didn't hear anything, and even if we did, what's the big deal?
Oh, my God.
Talk about bystander apathy.
Right, and this is what's so important about allyship.
Yeah.
Because silence in the face of injustice is complicity. We all have a responsibility to speak up when we witness these things.
For sure.
Because they contribute to a system of systemic racism.
Right, and I think that's an important distinction to make.
Yes.
Because it's not just
individual acts of hate, right? It's about the way that institutions and policies create and maintain racial inequities.
Exactly. And Amelia ends her post by saying, a Black African needs strength to live in the West.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is such a powerful statement.
It is.
About the emotional toll of constantly navigating these spaces.
Yeah.
It's not just about overcoming overt discrimination.
Right.
It's about facing this constant barrage of these subtle, insidious messages that tell you that you're less than, that you don't belong.
You're not welcome.
Yeah, and I think what Amelia's story really reveals is this unspoken expectation for Black people to constantly code switch.
Oh, for sure.
To shrink themselves.
Yeah.
To make themselves palatable to the dominant culture.
It's exhausting.
It's dehumanizing.
It is.
So what does this all mean for us?
Right.
It's clear that these microaggressions have a real and lasting impact.
Absolutely.
And they perpetuate these harmful stereotypes.
Yeah.
It's not just political correctness gone mad, as some people might argue.
It's so much deeper than that.
Right.
And recognizing microaggressions is really just the first step.
Okay.
The real work is in actively dismantling the systems that allow them to flourish. We need to move beyond simply being not racist and actively work towards being anti-racist.
And what does that look like?
Well,
what does that look like in our everyday lives?
I think it looks like calling out microaggressions when we see them. It looks like educating ourselves and others about this insidious nature of systemic racism.
Yeah.
And it looks like advocating for policies that promote equity and justice.
For sure. And I think it's also about examining our own biases.
Absolutely.
And assumptions.
We all have them. But we need to be willing to confront those biases and actively work to unlearn them.
So as you go about your day, I'll leave you with this.
Okay.
How can you be an ally?
Yeah.
And actively challenge microaggressions when you see them? How can you contribute to creating a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and respected?
That's the goal.
It's not easy work.
Nope.
But it's necessary work.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
On The Deep Dive.
Bye.